90-day fiancé, Julia Trubkina faces fertility fears ahead of testing. I need to breathe. 90-day fiancé star Julia Trubkina battled anxiety before a fertility clinic visit. With Brandon, she headed there to know what fertility problems she has. She appointed a Russian doctor in the early days to learn that she wouldn't have her biological children. This gave her emotional distress, which made her hide it from her husband for a long time. Brandon felt devastated when he came to know Julia couldn't conceive due to a major hormonal issue. He also thought it would be unfair for them to consider only one doctor, so they should seek a second opinion. She promised him that they would surely go for it. As she failed to schedule an appointment, he complained about her lack of effort to his parents. 90-day fiancé, Julia and Brandon fly to Japan amid stress. Brandon Gibbs and Julia Trubkina love vacationing in different countries to get away from emotional stress. The couple announced their trip to Japan recently. He revealed that being there made them consider relocating permanently. They wanted to start anew, away from America and their families. As they shared a carousel of pictures, they said they relished the cuisine and places. Julia and Brandon gave smiles together, hinting at their wholesome time spent in Japan. The reality stars appreciated the culture of the land. He had always dreamed of visiting it, and he was proud to make it a reality. Fans were left reeling by the question, asking each other if they would move there or if they were joking to impress. 90-day fiancé, Julia feels the pressure during fertility tests. During the August 3rd episode of Happily Ever After Season 9, Julia Trubkina and Brandon Gibbs stepped into a clinic for testing. She told him that she is nervous and getting panic attacks, but he said he is feeling good and made sure she also doesn't worry much. Despite how much her husband comforted her while driving, he couldn't calm down her. Julia agreed to show the reports to another doctor, which led her to meet two nurse practitioners, Lanessa and Janessa. She kept asking her husband enough questions to pull herself away from having a heart attack. But he stood firm in his happy thoughts about the whole thing. Her concerns were whether they would discover something in the tests. Brandon planned to cross the bridge with Julia if they ever came across that. He advised her to take a deep breath, insisting that everything would fall into place. He said, "I was so happy last week when Julia finally agreed to book an appointment, so I am excited to be here." Hearing him made his wife smile, looking at him. "You're like Arnold Schwarzenegger," Julia said to Brandon while imitating the actor. She believed that no matter what happens, he keeps his neutral face all the time. In all moments of joy, sadness, and terror, he holds the same facial expression. The TLC star hated him as an actor but praised his bodybuilding skills. Julia Trubkina links with controversial male 90-day fiancé star as she mourns son after leaving U.S. Julia Trubkina from 90-day fiancé, Happily Ever After, has teamed up with a controversial cast member to promote her business. After overcoming marital issues with her husband, Brandon Gibbs, Julia launched her new business, Kingdom for Dogs, in early 2025. She was thrilled to have finally achieved a successful career in the United States, but then faced a tragic turn of events. Julia lost her dog, Simba, which greatly affected her emotional well-being. Her grief prompted her to travel to Serbia to reunite with her family. Julia shared photos with her family, but none included her husband, Brandon. Julia has been enjoying her trip to Serbia while juggling her business. Earlier, Julia posted a photo of a black cat with one of her gift boxes, tagging her co-star, Pedro Jimeno, and thanking him for the picture. Recently, Pedro posted Instagram stories of himself playing with his two black cats and tagged Julia's business page, informing his followers that the toy he used came from a gift box Julia had sent. Although Pedro didn't directly tag Julia in his Instagram stories, it was clear that he was pleased with the gift box she had sent him. What Julia Trubkina partnering with Pedro Jimeno means. Pedro shows his support for Julia's business. It's impressive to see Julia attracting new customers, particularly those who are as well established as she is. Developing a strong customer base will enable her to promote her business to a broader audience, resulting in increased sales. Pedro isn't the only cast member who supports Julia's new business. Fellow pet owners and co-stars, including Jasmine Pineda, Sophie Sierra, Corey Rathgeber, and many others, follow Julia's business page. Some of them have promoted her business several times on their social media pages. Hopefully, partnering with popular 90 Day Fiancé cast members will help Julia's business grow. Julia's new partnership with Pedro appears to be strictly professional and business-oriented. Pedro has been working on improving his public image, leading to speculation that he may be promoting Julia's business to portray himself as a helpful and generous person. Julia, in turn, may have called Pedro her friend because he helped promote her business. It doesn't seem like she is a close friend of the controversial star. Still, it would be interesting to see if Pedro continues to post more videos promoting Julia's business, as well as who the next co-star to promote Julia will be. Our take on Pedro promoting Julia's business. Pedro Jimeno and Julia Trubkina offer mutual support. Pedro wasn't very nice to his ex-wife, Chantel Everett, but he showed himself to be a good friend to those close to him. He may have promoted Julia's business on social media out of kindness, but it's also possible that he did so to repair his reputation among fans. It's also possible that Julia sent Pedro the gift box for free so he could promote it. Since neither of the 90 Day Fiancé, happily ever after? Cast members have extensively discussed their friendship. It's reasonable to conclude that they are simply co-stars who support each other. 90 Day Fiancé. I'm convinced Julia Trubkina is no longer in love with Brandon Gibbs. It's time to call it quits. Julia Trubkina's actions in 90 Day, The Last Resort lead me to believe that she has fallen out of love with her husband, Brandon Gibbs. She and her American partner first met through a mutual friend before the COVID-19 pandemic. They fell in love with each other's personalities and started a relationship shortly after, leading to their appearance in 90 Day Fiancé Season 8. Initially, I enjoyed watching Brandon and Julia's story, as they seemed like genuine cast members with relatable issues. However, it wasn't long before Julia disappointed me by pushing Brandon to move out of his home. While Brandon and Julia took a break from appearing on the small screen, I stayed updated on their journey through social media. I watched as they faced challenges and grew stronger as a couple. I was especially impressed by Julia's efforts to reconcile with her in-laws and become a good daughter-in-law to them. Therefore, I was truly surprised when I learned that Brandon and Julia were participating in 90 Day, The Last Resort Season 2. I had no idea that they were still struggling with significant relationship issues that had drastically altered their dynamic. Julia isn't genuinely remorseful for her actions. All Julia wanted was to rid herself of the burden of guilt. Julia's recent actions and revelations have convinced me that she's no longer in love with Brandon. In a recent episode of the 90 Day Fiancé spin-off, she discussed her cheating scandal without showing a lot of remorse. She admitted to Brandon that she wasn't sure about their long-distance relationship in the beginning, so she had started dating and kissing her former boyfriend. Julia explained that she only opened up about her past infidelity in front of other cast members because it weighed heavily on her and caused her emotional distress. Believed Julia was being honest when she said that keeping such a big secret from Brandon hurt her. However, I also think that her pain wasn't necessarily from cheating on Brandon, but from feeling guilty over the past 5 years. If Julia truly regretted her actions, she would have tried to express her love for Brandon. Instead, she chose to focus on her own feelings, showing a lack of concern for Brandon's emotions. Her response implies her guilt stemmed from being more involved with her ex than she had admitted. Julia is still dissatisfied with Brandon's behavior. Julia doesn't want to have a baby with Brandon. Julia's recent behavior leads me to believe that she isn't grateful for what Brandon has done for her. She diminishes the fact that he left his family farm for her and minimizes his sacrifices. Julia has also never acknowledged that he supported her through her deportation scare and all her new career moves. The fact that Julia doesn't want to have a child with Brandon makes me think that she has no respect for him. It seems like she only cares about herself and her feelings without considering what Brandon wants. Julia doesn't see Brandon as her ideal type. Julia appears disinterested in spending time with Brandon. Recently, an Instagram account, at 90dayfiance.news.and.memes, shared photos of Julia with her muscular ex-boyfriend. Many fans commented on the post, saying that Julia had downgraded herself by marrying Brandon, who doesn't look as good as her ex. A user commented, "Guys, it was just a kiss, but we believed it." Someone else wrote, "Brandon needs to leave her, you can tell she is not into him." I believe fans are right that Brandon isn't Julia's type. The Russian reality star is more into bulky and attractive men like her ex than someone with an average build like Brandon. I believe that Julia doesn't consider Brandon to be her ideal type. She likely dated Brandon for his sweet personality at the time and was probably excited about the opportunity to live in the United States. Now that Julia has established her own business in America, she no longer finds the same joy in being with Brandon. It appears like she's simply not interested in her husband anymore. I believe the 90-day, the last resort cast member should consider leaving Brandon and finding someone who shares her youthful energy. Julia Trubkina's devastating loss abroad leaves 90-Day Fiancé fans heartbroken. After years of public ups and downs with husband Brandon Gibbs, 90-Day Fiancé star Julia Trubkina is opening up about a far more personal heartbreak, the devastating loss of her beloved dog Simba, whom she considered her son. About 5 years ago, Julia moved from Russia to the US on a K-1 visa to marry Brandon. Despite being together for nearly a decade, their relationship has faced serious challenges, including a near divorce that played out on 90-Day, The Last Resort, a spin-off designed to help struggling couples through therapy. By the end of the tell-all, Brandon and Julia were the only couple who officially stayed together, even agreeing to relocate Julia's parents to the US. But in May 2025, they were hit with an unimaginable loss, the death of Simba. While grieving, Julia spent time visiting family in Belgrade, Serbia, notably without Brandon, and shared a touching Instagram story about a dream she had. "Last night I saw you in my dream for the first time in a month and a half since you were gone. And even in my dream you tried to protect me from a bear and I tried to protect you." How Julia Trubkina's beloved dog Simba became her anchor after leaving Russia on 90-Day Fiancé. Moving to America was a massive adjustment for Julia. Trading her fast-paced city life in Russia as a go-go dancer for a quiet farm in Virginia with Brandon and his parents was a dramatic shift. Not only did Julia lose her support system when she moved to America, but she quickly had to adjust to the country life and care for farm animals, which wasn't what she envisioned in her role as an American wife. Luckily though, Julia had her beloved son, Simba, who remained her loyal companion during these challenging times. Even when her husband struggled to connect with her, Simba offered her unconditional support through his calming presence. In the time they were together, Julia cared for her pet as if it were her own son. However, it's likely his absence has added to the voidness in her life and may also contribute to her struggle with maternal love. Julia's dream of protecting Simba may reflect the love and emotion she wishes she had expressed more fully in real life. In April 2025, Simba was diagnosed with an illness that ultimately led to his death. Though it's been over a month, Julia's grief remains palpable. Simba wasn't just a pet, he was a true friend and constant, unconditional companion with whom she shared a deep emotional bond. Given the couple's ongoing struggle with the decision to have children, Julia's pain is even more understandable. Additionally, traveling out of the country to reconnect with family, but lacking her husband's physical support may have likely contributed to the internal turmoil. In the end, it isn't unusual for people to still dream about people or even their pets after a passing. Her heartfelt post in May about losing Simba prompted a flood of responses from fans. She shared, "Run on the rainbow, my boy. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me. I really hope I was a good mommy for you. The pain I feel cannot be expressed in words or tears. My best, beloved boy, you will always be in my heart. Thank you for being in my life. I don't know what I will do without you. I love you with all my heart, Simba." Fans replied with comments like, "Rip sweet Simba and so sorry. Losing a pet is heartbreaking. Dogs are family. Julia's story struck a chord with many in the 90-Day Fiancé community. 90-Day Fiancé's Julia Trubkina and Brandon Gibbs expecting their first baby together, exclusive. The couple tied the knot in April 2020. By Kayla Grant. The 90-Day Fiancé stars are expecting their first baby together, sharing their pregnancy news exclusively with People. Trubkina, 31, and Gibbs, also 31, are thrilled to step into this new chapter of their lives, telling People it's both exciting and a little surreal. Big news, we're expecting, the couple shares. It's both exciting and a little surreal, but we couldn't be more thrilled to step into this new chapter. Thank you all for the love and support. We can't wait to share the journey with you. The couple, who tied the knot in April 2020, appeared on Season 8 of the TLC series, as well as Season 6 of 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, 90-Day Diaries, and Season 2 of 90-Day, The Last Resort. Through the series, fans have been able to follow the pair's relationship from when the soon-to-be first-time mom initially moved onto the Gibbs farm in Richmond, Virginia, from Russia. The transition to living with the family wasn't always comfortable. However, Trubkina and Gibbs' relationship stayed strong. In January 2022, Trubkina shared an Instagram reel of herself dancing to the cha-cha slide alongside her husband and his parents. In the video, the family looked to be in good spirits.